Hi, Alan Schimmel, DevOps.com here with Shannon Lietz, Director of DevSecOps at Intuit. Shannon, welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.
So, Shannon, you're my first Director of DevSecOps.
I might be the only director
Director
of
of DevSecOps. That's
DevSecOps.
pretty funny. But seriously, you actually started, or you run the DevSecOps website.
Yep.
It's DevSecOps.org.
Yes,
Yeah. And
DevSecOps.org.
there's a ton of great information on there. And
Thank you.
yes, great job. And I've been lucky enough to see you speak at RSA and at the DevOps Connect Rugged DevOps event we did at RSA, as well as at a few of the CD Summit Jenkins days that we've been doing now. And you actually just came out of the Nexus World Tour Heroes section.
Yeah, super exciting here in
Yes,
Boston.
here in Boston, right? And you were actually we're not in Chicago.
I wasn't in Chicago. I had to miss.
It's okay, and we'll see you at some others. But for our audience, why don't you give, if you can, a condensed preview of
Yeah.
what you're talking about?
Yeah, so I've come out here to the Nexus tour to talk about the Sonatype product and some of the things that they're doing, and also how you implement DevSecOps, basically removing the last boundary to moving into CI/CD. And I think that that's been an important part of our journey. So CI/CD has become such a big deal when you're trying to do cultural transformation, help people to have the same communication, being able to talk about code and code snippets, and move security closer to the development process,
Sure.
both in the DevSec part of it and the SecOps part of it, really kind of bringing all of the people to the software that they need to be able to support.
So Shannon, I've heard you say that you're kind of a security person running a dev team,
I am.
and then that's really funny. A friend of mine I know on Facebook, former CEO, multi-time CEO to startup, said something the other day about how developers will never be serious about security because it's just not in their makeup. And I said, "Oh, you're wrong."
I think that's true. I think it's very wrong. And the reason why I say that is because I believe that people want to build the best software that they can, and that they want to build the most resilient, most available, most secure product, because customers like me and like others and throughout the world demand security first.
Right.
They're not willing to necessarily give up their data, buy into a product without it being secured. And things like MFA are becoming more part of the applications that we see every day. Some of the things that I think is really interesting is to see some of the work under two-factor auth being done, and really applications that you would never imagine people wanted to secure being secured through two factors. So I think the culture is ripe to start to see
Yes.
security involvement, and also I think that there's still a challenge with trying to bring security to the software development platform like CI/CD, because that language really hasn't been there throughout the process before. So there's a little bit of that cultural dynamic that has to get addressed, and some of the tooling will evolve over time.
I agree. I think also, though, and we spoke at dinner last night with my background in security, it's not just the culture of the dev and the ops folks even, it's the culture of the security folk as well.
Yeah.
It's come a long way.
Oh, yeah.
I'm doing this now 4 years and 3 years plus, and I've seen a ton of goodness happening as we move, closing these tribes together. But there's still a lot of security doubters out there, right? And there's a lot of security people who like to get, they tighten up when you try to take anything out of their control. So,
Yeah.
and that's part of what you're doing with DevSecOps.
Yeah, absolutely. What's really interesting about control and security is quite often you really need it to scale. And so if you're trying to control something, they're maybe going around you. You're not necessarily getting all the security you hope for. And I think that it's really about bringing new concepts to life, innovating in the space, finding new ways to have the dialogue. Like as an example, we grade everything. We might find it along the way because somebody went around us, but ultimately it gets a grade and it gets on our manifest, and then it's not going away anytime soon,
At least
right?
we know about it.
Exactly. And so, yeah, there might be a need for somebody to move fast and do the things they need to, but ultimately by going out and grading and trying to figure out scalable methods, we've really kind of overcome that because now we're able to find the things that are out there, really start to do the security job more ruggedly, and really address things even through things like red teaming. You know, we have Red Team Monday, which, by the way, I really love Red Team Monday. I look forward to it every Monday.
Okay.
We post our targets on Fridays. We basically,
really?
yeah,
That's
we go
nice
through
of
our
you.
company and say, hey, you know, we're going to go
We're
after
coming.
this on Monday. And for the teams that really are interested in being rugged and more secure, those targets are gone by Monday. So I
Really?
know that it's working in some fashion because we're actually seeing that evolution
That's
happen.
fantastic.
Yeah.
One more question because I know
Yep.
you have to go. There's a lot of people out here in the audience, men and women, love to get into security, would love to be in DevOps. Let's say they want to. It's funny, the high school by my house is now offering a cybersecurity
Yeah.
specialty. For young people out there looking, Shannon, what's the best advice you can give them?
Yeah, it's a great opportunity. You know, there's going to be 1.5 million jobs that go unfilled in the security space over this next year and a half. And then over the next few years, by 2020, there'll be a deficit of around 3 million is what we're seeing projections for. And so I would tell you that the way that people can actually start to become security minded so that they can actually look for jobs like this is go to your schools, start to get educated in security and safety. Realize that when you're doing a job that you also need to think about what's the responsible thing to do, what's the safe thing to do, and really bring up those questions. Those questions have to become part of the communication, part of the dialogue, and oftentimes, you know, they're the last thing that's thought about because it's somebody else's job. I kind of love the concept of walking through the airport and hearing that security is everyone's responsibility, and it's sort of like that mental note that that's really the job of everyone in the world to actually try and make a safe environment. And ultimately, I also think it's about like finding opportunities. You know, we host boot camps, people apply to them. We're going out and talking about these things. OWASP is another great community to go and actually.
WASP.
Yeah,
Yep.
OWASP is a great community that posts a lot of their security capabilities out there. You know, hacking concepts, basically go out and look for penetration, hacking labs, some of those things. And then, you know, if you've got questions, you can always send us an email at devsecops.org. And, you know, we're constantly looking for people to partner with to develop content and do things in this space.
It's fantastic. And there's a lot of local orgs you'll find.
Yeah.
Whether they be ISAC or ICE or hackathons or, you know, stuff like that. And
There's so much more because what we're seeing across the world right now is a driving force to try and breach applications and companies through the internet. And it's really not becoming something smaller. It's getting larger and larger. We just got to figure out how to scale it.
Absolutely. Shannon, thank you so much for joining us. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really.
This is Alan Schimmel for DevOps.com. Thanks and have a great day.
Fabulous.